Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Thank you. Welcome to Trailblazers Radio. I'm your host, Mr. Frederick B. Thank you so very much for tuning in and rocking out with us tonight, man. You guys could have been anywhere else, but you guys are right here with us, and we most definitely thank you guys for being here with us. Um, we got a great show. We got a great show episode for you guys tonight. We are continuing our conversation of postpartum depression or PPD with my guest, Miss Joy Kitanga-Dabo. And before we bring her up to the stage and things of that nature, I do want to throw a couple of announcements out here for you guys. So first and foremost, continue to like and follow us on our various social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Um, Also follow us on our website at www.trailblazersradio.net. Also follow our other hosts, Quint Jones, Coco Fenton, and Latanya Harris Good, also lovingly known as LHG on all their various social media platforms. Um, and just we just thank you guys so very much for being here, from just tuning in to us, rocking out with us, vibing with us, and things of that nature, man. If it wasn't for if it wasn't for your listenership and your viewership, uh, this this would not be possible. Most definitely got to give thanks to Almighty God. Uh, without Him in this endeavor wouldn't be possible as well. Nor would this divine connection as well. Uh, so without any further ado, I want to welcome back to our platform. I want to welcome back Miss Joy Katanga Dabo back into the building, back into the podcast. So we're gonna continue our conversation on PPD, also known as postpartum depression. Now, last week we talked about postpartum depression. We talked about what it was. We talked we kind of we told we know that PPD is a physical condition that can be brought on by that can bring about a mental health condition. So we know what that is. Um we talked a little bit about numbers and percentages. Um Ms. Joy mentioned that 80% of those women who suffer postpartum depression who experience it come out of it, and they come out of it no worse for wear. But what about the 20%? So the 20% is what we're gonna concentrate on, and focus on tonight, because again, for me, it's more about bringing awareness to something that is rarely talked about, but it's also bringing about solutions to that. And that's the reason why that's the reason why Miss Joy is here tonight as well. Because not only are we gonna build with, you know, the effects on each individual, but we're also gonna build towards solutions to that as well. Um, and I hope that, it's my hope and my prayer that, by listening and watching by listening and or watching this particular episode, that there's a better understanding of, number one, what it is, what PPD is, and number two, how it affects a mother, a new mother, or even an expected mother. So with that being said, I want to welcome back Miss Joy, back into the podcast again. How are you tonight?
I am doing good, better than last week. Yes, last week we stormed it through and we made it through the cold that was hunting me, but we made it
Yeah,
through. So to this week, I'm doing much better. Thank God I'm here, and I'm glad to be here again with you.
excellent, excellent. I am glad that you're back here with us again. Like I said it earlier, this is a subject that this is a condition that's rarely talked about. But and I think a lot of people, say it, think of it as a physical condition. It is a physical condition, but it also brings about a mental health condition.
Hmm.
So a lot of people kind of try to put it in one category or the other. I look at it as both. It is a physical condition which brings about a mental health condition, and once it comes to the mental health side of it, that's where it needs that, and I think that's where it needs to be really addressed. But it needs to be addressed on the physical side too.
Yes.
So we're most definitely gonna talk about that. So, like I said before, our first episode really delved into what it was. What we talked a lot about, you know, we talked a little bit about symptoms and effects and things of that nature, but we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that as well now. So, and I do, like I said, in respect for your time and things of that nature, I want to jump, if you don't mind, I want to jump right into this. Um,
Hmm. So I'll say that the physical aspect is the result of the mental aspect. It's not a physical that affects the mental. It's the mental that affects the physical. Because if for those who are not with us last week, we dive into what postpartum depression, and just a little bit review for those who are not there, is that it's a mental health cause as a result of hormonal imbalance. So it's a chemical adjustment. When a woman is pregnant, the estrogen and the progesterone, they kind of go sky high. That's why she's happy. I'm pregnant, hands on belly, enjoying that new thing that is happening to her, whether it's the first time, the second one, the fifth, the 10th one. There's that level of progesterone and estrogen that goes so high that she is into another world. And of course, that other world is the connection that allows the mother and the child to connect, to bond, to nurture all that love that she needs to give it. What happened is that once she gives birth, that hormone, those two hormones, drastically dropped. And as they drop, that's where the sluggish, the slumbering, the mood swing, that I don't feel like myself anymore. The get out of my face, right? Our partner will be like, oh my gosh, she was just fine. And suddenly she's like, get out of my face. I don't want to see you. They come in because suddenly that high has gone drastically down. And there's another key factor to this, is that as I do my research, is that the the hormone as well that is created to break down your nutrition also goes down. So now here you are, you eat something and it's stuck in your
wow.
body because your body is not processing it. The metabolism goes way down. You're not processing the food properly, and you get tired. So it's like the digestive system as well is like, you got plenty of food, time to sleep. Like the whole thing is just imbalance in the body. So that's why I want us to think as a postpartum depression is a mental impact that affect the physical. What do I mean about affect the physical? Because once the postpartum depression kick in, we some women experience the blues, right? The baby blues, which it lasts about weeks. When we're talking about, and the symptoms go from anxiety, nervous, sadness, or irritability, and it's a very short period of time. But when it goes prolonged, it stays longer, then it goes into the period of depression, where now you start not just feeling anxious about, oh my gosh, you have some of those mommies around where you'll be like, oh my gosh, my baby, you're afraid to drop off, the baby to the daycare because you feel like something would happen to it. It's that feeling of, you've developed this emotional attachment and connection with this being, and now the separation of being outside of you, it's affecting you. So with the postpartum depression, now you're going into the state where you're depressed. You're not just sad. You're not just feeling tired. You're feeling like you're crying. You're feeling like I'm not a good mother. You start feeling like you can't protect the kid. All these negative feelings start bombarding your mind. And that's the place where and some women, it's like you're sleeping all day. You're just feeling tired, not just that you gave birth, the work of giving birth, but mentally it is exhausted because again of the hormone that has gone down, and you wondering, can I take care of myself? Can I take care of my family? This is becoming an overwhelming. So the outside now forces the outside, the environment now start also adding to the what? To the chemical activity that is happening in your body. I don't know what happened. It's I feel like it froze. Can you still hear me? Okay.
No, yeah, I can hear you. It's yeah, it's been doing that for a minute. It's been we struggle streaming, but we gonna get through this though. We gonna get through this. So we gonna get through this though. We gotta. So like you mentioned, this could we so I guess the way I'm looking at it it brings about a host of and you mentioned the sleeping all day, the reduced appetite, uh the tiredness, the well, the malaise, the tiredness. You be all we kind of we both converted. It is that chemical imbalance of
Hmm.
like the you said estrogen. I think the other one was what was the other one? What was the other
Progesterone.
chemical you mentioned? Progesterone. So
Progesterone. Hmm.
you mentioned that both of those are so like are like extremely high as a woman's going through her pregnancy, and then
Hmm.
as soon as she has the baby, those levels just drop drastically. You know, is it now when you mentioned those levels drop? Do they is it like a drastic drop, or is it a drop over time?
It's a drastic drop, and for some women it goes into the a slow depression coming through, and for some it's like for example for me, for my experience is like 2 weeks 3 weeks later I feel like a truck just hit me. And I'm
Wow.
like, what's wrong? What happened to my head? I'm like, what happened? Like suddenly my body, I feel this shift, and I'm asking myself, what just happened? And it's a drastic drop because again, these hormone were there so high, and they were there to maintain you and to have this relationship with the child in you. The child is no longer there, so it
Uh,
drastically drop, and for some they don't feel that drop, but for some they do feel the drastic drop.
Now it's like the sleeping on the general malaise and um the loss of appetite. You know, now are those the most common symptoms, or is it or is it kind of like or is it kind of something that's not atypical from one woman to the next, or is it kind of like generalized for every woman, or is it just like those are just the more common symptoms?
Those are just the most common ones. And again, for some women, they will. I used to laugh this with some of my sisters. I say when I go through my process, and I'm like, oh my gosh, after I gave birth to my second one, I'm like, now I understand why back home women are so much energy, and you just gave birth, and you having so much energy, and it's not necessarily the fact that for some that drop it caused them to feel so exhausted and tired and can't do anything, but for some you become overly like empowered and you like doing everything. And that's why like some women that it's a what I share with some of the ladies that I work with is that it is that the dopamine or the illusion that you created yourself to be, I'm the strong person, so you override the chemical imbalance that is happening in your body with this understanding, I'm the strong person, I can do it, I gotta do it. So I block myself from feeling that exhaustion. Especially this also happened with the single mom. You don't have any option, an alternative, so you just block your memory, your brain, yourself from feeling the exhaustion, and they go. Some of these individuals, that's where they pass out in the middle of nowhere, or they find them knocked out on the floor. It's because they override it with such high level of enthusiasm, or I gotta do this, so let me not think about the tiredness in my body.
Wow. And then we all know what happens when you push your body too far.
Hmm.
Your body respond, or your body does respond. And people, if you I mean if you haven't experienced that before, where you push yourself so hard and your body tells you, I'm gonna shut down without you, without your no, without notice. I mean, it's a and I've experienced that before as a man,
Mm-hmm.
where you push yourself so hard and then all of a sudden your body says, nope, not doing this anymore for the shutdown.
Mm-hmm.
And it's even more so for women as well, because again, I mean, for me, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this, and this is again, what I'm gonna say is really is more pro is more sincere than anything. Who who goes through 9 months of pregnancy and they bring a life into this world. The other thing that I want to mention with that is that it's just as important for you to take care of yourself as well, because there has to be a line between, okay, I have this baby, I have to make sure that he or she is taken care of. I have to make sure that I bond with him or her. I have to make sure that my father, that his father bonds with him or her. But I also have to make sure that
Mm-hmm.
and I think for I know for me as a man, there's some things that there are certain parts of me that I don't certain instances of that I don't. That's the reason why you and I are here having this discussion. So number one, I can understand more about what this is and how it affects women.
Mm-hmm.
But also, again, as we build, we come across some solutions and stuff like that. Now, the what are some other physical symptoms are there besides the malaise and the loss of appetite? What other physical symptoms can be present?
Well, the physical excuse me, the physical manifestation, again, the tiredness, the exhaustion, and you also see irritability, right? A mom who a little thing just make them snap. That's another physical. You every little thing just gets on your nerve, especially when you have Johnny and you have Katie and you have Sephora.
That's all very often.
And suddenly they become the target, right? They become the target because you're snapping, you irritated, and innocently they don't know that mommy just gave birth and hormone has dropped in her body, and she's irritated that she need a break. They don't know, they just know that I'm hungry, I'm tired, and I'm exhausted, and I need you now. And for the mom that has about, maybe this is the first child you have or the second child, is whoever is around is the one who get the punch. The irritability, you get irritated, so you're frustrated and you want
Yeah.
to release that anxiety, you want to release that. And partners, they're the one who get the punch as well, because why didn't you do this and this should have been this should have been the. It's being patient with her, because as she's going through this process, that she's not even aware of it, she's thinking that this irritability is, I am in defense of this defenseless child. I'm
Wow.
protecting this child. This child needs to eat. This child needs to do this. This child this, and not understanding that you are building up irritation within you. You are building up anxiety. You are building up. So that's why rest is very. When they say that when your child sleeps, sleep as well. It's a dream, right? It's a dream. But does that happen? No, it doesn't necessarily happen again, because the whole imbalance that's going on in you, you're either sky high dopamine, caffeine, because I gotta get through the day. I gotta get through this. I gotta clean the laundry. I gotta do this. What I'm gonna say to you is this: those dishes, those laundries are always gonna be there. Get yourself a nap. Get yourself a nap. Get yourself a nap.
Wow. And rest is important, y'all. Rest is important.
It is.
And you get into it. You got babies. when they're firstborn, they have their sleep schedule is very, very erratic. So whenever you lay that baby down, you better go down yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So the one thing that I do want to talk about one question I did we and I when we think about PPD, I think some people think of it more as they look at it more from the physical symptom side, right?
Mm-hmm.
But of it, right? So from your personal experience with it, and I do want you to talk a little bit about that a little bit later or a little bit later on. But do you feel it's more physical than it is mental?
I believe for my experience, it felt mental. It felt mental. Before I realized it, all I was expressing to my husband was, I just feel tired. I'll be like, I feel exhausted. And that was like a repetition. I feel very exhausted. And then the desire of wanting to be this strong woman, the desire of wanting to be this motivational and be this out blast joy, right, as my name said, trying to be that person. But I'll be like, and I thank God that I have this ability of awareness. I do practice a lot of self-awareness, and self-assessment is another thing. Self-assessment, especially for us women, is not just for the breast cancers or all these. No, no, no. Self-assessment, I really want to encourage us women to have a habit of doing a self-care, self-assessment daily. How am I feeling? Where am I right now? And there's this religious person, Wesley, Mr. Wesley, who had this question of, how is it with your soul? I usually want to encourage us women daily when you wake up to just have that alignment question. Where am I today? How do I feel? And you will realize when you are so in tune and so aware of where you are, those little moment of changes will come a way of advocating for yourself. Excuse me. And I realized that that was for me. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel this exhaustion, and I will feel the tension in my arms. I will feel tension in my arms, and I'm like, maybe it's from carrying the baby too long. Maybe it's from doing this. And I remember even going to the doctor, asking about this numbness that is in my hand. I was like, I feel this numbness in my hand. What could it be? They tried to send me to therapy. They gave me the steroid that I had to drink, for the tension that I was in my arm. And I kept saying to my husband, I said, it's not that. I don't know what it is. I just feel exhausted and I'm tired. And one morning I woke up, it went from exhaustion, I feel tired, to, what day is today? I couldn't remember
Oh
what day it
wow.
was. I was like, what day is today? And then it went into, what hour is it? Where are the kids? Like,
Wow.
why is so quiet? And then I start um telling him, I said, this is not just exhaustion. I think depression is hitting me. And he's like, no, don't say that, don't confess it. Us Christian religious people, you start, don't confess that, don't confess that. And I said to him, I said, no, it's not me trying to confess. I want you to get it. It is happening to me right now. As we're talking, it is happening, and I need you to support and take care of my kid. Otherwise, I'm gonna pass out in the hallway one day, trying to be this strong person. And he understood. It's like, it's not every day that I do wake up and I say, "Hey, I can't do it." For those who knew me, I'm an ongoing person. I just keep going, 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 going. And I just say, I went from exhaustion to, what day is today? To, what hour? What am I supposed to be doing today? And automatically for me right there, I knew postpartum depression is hitting me. So that was my journey of
Wow.
from physical to being aware that it is not a physical, it is a what, it is something that is happening. uh, the postpartum depression is happening, and that I needed to start speaking and voicing. And from there as well, Frederick, is when I told him, I say, I'm gonna get me a counseling, and I found the one, and I started journeying with him.
Wow. But you mentioned like what day is it? What hour is it? What time is it? To me, that's kind of like that is like short-term memory loss.
Hmm.
Is that common?
It is one of those symptoms as well, that is when you're experiencing postpartum depression as well. But if you do not advocate those memory loss, those affects, when it start affecting your memory loss, you don't do anything, that's when it start transitioning to psychosis, right? The deep end of it. That's the one that we were talking about, the 20%, where you are like, okay, what is happening to me? And then you start having these severe panic attack. I thank God I didn't go to the panic attack. For me, it was just I couldn't remember what day it was. And then I was like, I never forget. I never had these memory. Why am I having memory loss? Why am I having like trouble remembering what day it is, what I'm supposed to do? And that for me was like, okay, time to go find a counseling.
To me, that doesn't seem like a yeah. This just from we listening to your story, it doesn't seem like like something that occurs very often.
Hmm.
The short-term memory loss, or that I mean, I don't know if that's something that occurs very often. I mean, you from your experience, you did it. You That's something you experienced, but I never
Yeah. Well, remember we shared last week, and I say that my
I never would
my
have.
there was a
Go ahead,
delay.
sweetheart. I'm sorry.
I say last week, I share with you. I say that my OB I had presented to them and say I feel like I can't remember thing, that I gotta write it down. And that was during pregnancy. And he's like, oh yes, they call it the pregnancy symptoms. The pregnancy symptoms is the memory loss when you're pregnant. So a lot of pregnant women, like a lot are pregnant women, they go through the symptoms of writing things down because you forget, and it's normal for pregnancy. But and then the part of not realizing that that also can become the symptoms of this person can develop postpartum depression, but it's overlooked because it's a what? It's a pregnancy symptom.
Wow. Woo. That's heavy. That's heavy to know that something like short-term memory loss can be an after effect of number one pregnancy, but then also
Hmm.
something that can PPD. That is a bit that I'll say this. That's amazing, but it's also very scary
It is.
to know that you one day you remember everything, the next moment, poof,
Hmm.
you don't know what day it is. You don't know where you are in a particular moment in time. That's that would be a very scary experience for me to not know where I am, to not know where I bet it would be horrifying actually. Gosh. And that I never knew that those types of things would affect a woman. First of all, I mean, we we the hormonal imbalance number one, but then on top of that, the drastic drop in those hormones
Hmm.
and how they affect a woman in an overarching fashion. You know, you have all these hormones and you're high, and then you have the baby, boom, you're low, and now you're trying to supplant
Mhm.
those hormones that got you up on that still had you high with other actions such as doing things like as being strong and then now the dopamine kicks in and all that other stuff and now you're trying to do everything you can to try to be that all around mother and all that all around woman and then all of a sudden boom short term memory loss kicks in or better
Mhm.
yet boom exhaustion kicks in or even worse yet boom your body says nope not doing this no more I'm gonna hit the shutdown button
Yeah, it is.
and
It is happen, and for some is that they lead into the refrigerator, right? Into the
wow
cabinet, the chocolate, the eating, the suddenly gaining of weight, and it's all part of trying to figure it out. What just happened to my body? And that's where I'm coming in with the that find a community. If you're a single mom, having those loving individual around you to love on you. um, I feel so strong about this is that the restoration period of restoring the woman, not just the body but the physical, the soul, the spirit. you know it's if I can go a little bit on the religious side, is that women, if you have a chance to watch it, Dr. Miles Monroe, the late Dr. Miles Monroe video on who a woman is, he has such a powerful teaching on this. But it's that you're a gatekeeper, right? And as a gatekeeper from the spiritual realm to the physical realm, so having those community of people who love on you, the community of support, the community of people who will cook. Yeah, I love one of my brother's wife. I love her. She's so amazing. She actually had her church family create what they call a meal train. And the meal train is that they had people assigned to bring food and all kind of meals at her house for a whole full weeks, almost 2 weeks. They were bringing just lavishing her with food and cards and all these beautiful things just to uplift the moral, to encourage her, and she's thriving. And when I saw that, I was like, that's what a woman needs. When every woman in the world, every woman, it doesn't matter where you are in the poorest country or the richest country, when you give birth, you need that support, you need that love, you need, even to the point of just be in bed and have somebody to just cuddle with you, not to just give you that warmth back, because a lot has been pulled on. We can develop the scientific method. The scientific method is saying hormonal drop, right? That's the science. That's why I love science and spirituality, because they come at the place of intersection and allow us to know how we are to live as human beings.
wow I love that I do because because when you to a child, right? We're talking about, and you mentioned it, the physical, the emotional, the mental, the also the psychological, the physiological parts aspects of those, you know, and it starts with, the people that are closest to you,
Mm-hmm.
your family, around you, a village of people will that'll put themselves out there for you and that'll make sure that you're taken care of regardless of what goes on. No, you or better yet, eat something. We got the baby. Don't worry about it. We got you. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I think the other part of that is, and I want to jump before we even get into that because I want to say not only is but also your healthcare team. That is an important aspect of that as well. But and I want to jump into that to see how I want to jump into that. But before we do that, I do want to take a little break so we can fix out fix the struggle stream ish breather too, to kind of step back and say, whew. But I also want to give our audience a chance to kind of wrap their heads around all this stuff and kind of take it in and kind of wonder, you know, and also make an assessment of themselves, but of their make assessment of their partners. And if you're a new mom, I highly encourage you to self-assess. But we're gonna get into that in here in a minute. But we're gonna take a road back. You got watching the check-in with myself, Frederick Beatty, and my beautiful guest, Miss Joy Kitanga-Dabo, right here on Trailblazers Radio. We shall return. You guys don't go. No, if I could get this to act right, please act right. Thank you very much. Here we go. All right, taking a break. Be right back, y'all.
Hello, everybody. This is LHG. I am just coming to let you know that I am an independent paparazzi jewelry consultant. You didn't know that, did you? Well, now you know. So I would love to be your personal jewelry lady. Paparazzi is an amazing company. We sell nickel and lead-free jewelry. We are known for our $5 bling, but you just need to know there is an exclusive Z collection that's $25. It's the bling of all bling when you're really going out on the town and you want to show up absolutely fabulous. So, we have items for women, for men, and for young fashionistas out there. We don't discriminate. If you need it, I'm sure we got it. You have the opportunity to follow my page on Facebook called Polished on Purpose, a VIP group. Follow my personal page, Latanya Harris Gooden. And I have my own website that is at your disposal 24/7. So many ways to shop. So let me be the one that makes sure you are accessorized the way you should be. Because I want you to be polished on purpose. My mentor always tells me, when you show up, people are checking you out. They're watching you. So why not be polished? Be poised. Be purposeful. Glam it up with pop, honey. I got what you need.
What is a critical conversation? What is a critical conversation? A critical conversation is a conversation that reveals important content, not only about ourselves, but about other people. Critical conversations edify, heal, and provide substance. Join Latanya Harris Gooden as she introduces us to critical conversations right here on Trailblazers Radio.
Life is so boring. I'm working harder every day, in every way, more than I can bear. I can do anything for love and everyone, and for myself, giving all I have, my own. So when the sun is coming out, all I know is the feeling I will be okay. Every day working hard, moving on, and I know we will make mistakes. Before you know, I step to grow. Not ashamed to play the fool for the cause. Somehow I'm gonna stop playing it off. Cause life,
sharing is what you need to do. This is your time.
It's time.
Keep doing what you got to do. This is your life. It's your life.
Cyber war, cyber love. I think you got the feeling what I'm thinking of. Cyber got this feeling, every stone is in my way. Now I send my joy to you each day, each day. You can be anything you want if you care and if you dare. Just open up your heart again. So when the sun is coming out, all I know is the feeling I will be okay. Every day working hard, moving on, and I know we will make mistakes. Before you know, I step to grow. Not ashamed to play the fool for the cause. Some I'm gonna start playing it off.
Day by day, gonna make it great. I'm gonna keep it moving on. Day by day, gonna make it great. I'm gonna keep it moving on.
Cause life, get up,
Sharing is what you need to do. This is your time.
it's time, get up,
Keep doing what you got to do. This is your life. It's your life.
cyber love. I think you got the feeling what I'm banking on. Cyber love. I think I wanna get it all.
It's your life.
Cyber love. I think you got the feeling what I'm banking on. Way down, touchdown, shake down, touchdown. I think I wanna get it all.
It's your life.
Host Joy Kitanga-Dabo. We sit up here. We're talking about PPD. We talked about a lot of things um, here. And we talked about certain aspects of what this is or what it kind of talk about now is the importance of your care team, meaning your OB, meaning your OBGYN, and possibly your primary care, probably possibly your primary care physician, and maybe a mental health professional. Elements. How important was having those people a part of your care team? How important is it for them to? Well, let me put this in a different way. How important is it for a woman who's had a child and then experiencing PPD? How important is it to involve not only her OBGYN but also her primary care physician in tackling this?
Well, yeah, welcome back, everybody, again. And this is good to be back again. And what I'll say the importance of having those team, medical team, psychologists, it's because these is treatable, right? It's treatable. Unless is I'll say first, unless if you have, for example, a story, history of bipolar, something of maybe schizophrenic, or of all like the peak mental health issues. But even those ones as well, they're treatable, right? They'll give you, they'll prescribe medication and everything. But we're talking about now in cases where a woman had pregnancy now involved and now she has given birth. To involve your medical team is very important because your doctor will know of already by this time, they've already studied your body, they've already studied what's good for you, what kind of medication will help you with that. It's really good to have them involved from the beginning. And like I say, for me, the moment I identify it, I got my psychology, my counselor. I find me a counselor. As a Christian person, I say, well, I want to find a Christian counselor. So I look for a Christian counselor who can walk this journey with me. Because some of these things you may think, you will assume and say, well, I'm just going this. Self-diagnose is not it's not always the greatest. So we tend to do these self-diagnose and self-implication, and you will never know the amount or dosages that you need to drink, and in order for them to follow up as well. That's where some people end up with, well, self intoxication. You drink too much of it, or maybe if I do this, you can do the wrong thing. There's a reason God created medical team. There's a reason God created doctors. There's a reason God created give a counselor. For those that are Christian that are listening, and you're like, well, I don't need a counselor. Just no, the Holy Spirit is a counselor. So God give wisdom to the counselor that they may come and walk along with you. So think about it that way. If you are scared and you're like, well, I don't want this historical, diagnosis, because I know some of our sisters out there, you go like, I don't want this to be part of my medical history. Find yourself a Christian counselor who's going to walk with you. Find an OB. If you have an OB where you don't feel comfortable to express these things, you better just change a period. You just better change that OB. If you have a PCP where you feel like you can advocate with you better change. Find somebody where you feel comfortable enough to advocate for yourself. I'm not feeling this, and they'll be able to walk with you. They'll be able to what? To prescribe things that are important to you. Because it's a relationship. Medical team, psychology team, family team is a relationship. And if you're like, I don't trust my doctor, then you better quit, fire him, find you another doctor. If you say, I don't trust my psychologist, I don't trust my psychology, find somebody, because it's your health, it's your body, from the mental all the way to the physical, to the spiritual. Even for the pastor, you can't trust them. Find you somebody that you trust that can walk with you along. It's very important.
Oh man, I love that right there because it is important. It is important to involve your medical team. Be that level of trust with your medical team. If if you can't trust your medical team to do what's necessary for you, then you need to find a PCP to
Mhm.
do what needs to be done. You got to find somebody different. If you can't trust a psychologist or a psychiatrist or whomever or whatever mental professional to help you, it's time to go somewhere else. You know, and you talked about self assessment. How important is that aspect? And I'll repeat what I'm saying. We talked about self assessment earlier.
Mhm.
How important is self assessment?
Very, very important, because before the doctor can diagnose you, you must be able to present a case for yourself, right? And that happened as a result of self assessment. For example, I have a headache. That's self assessment, right? Um, I can't sleep. That's self assessment. The doctor will take the information that you have what? Observed throughout your week. That's where they will ask the question, how long have you been feeling this way? Is this the first time you feel this way? Those comes as a result of self assessment. And now I want to include to the self assessment of when I shared earlier, I said you need to have a daily self assessment. Is that part of you finding your line, your center? Where's my line? Am I a little bit to the right? Am I a little bit to the left? Am I waking up feeling irritated, or am I feeling calm? Where am I in the spectrum of Joy's life? Where am I in the spectrum of Frederick? Even male can do this, because what happened is that we wake up in the morning, that alarm in the mind already starts saying, oh, it's another day, right? The alarm already clicking, but you keep going. The body already tell, oh, it's another day, but you just keep going. You just keep going, and then you get to the what? To the coffee machine, and when you get to the coffee machine, oh man, this coffee is so, whatever negative you're gonna put it out there. What you're not realizing is that your mind is already telling you that I need rest. Your mind is already telling you we need to slow down. Your mind is already telling you you're going to snap at somebody at work. But you're not listening. You're not listening to that movement. You're not listening to your environment. You're not listening to your spirit's being that is telling you we need to slow down. There's danger. It's like the red light. You see, it's
Wow.
transitioning from green, it's going to orange, but you like, oh, I gotta press it, just press that acceleration so that I can cross this red light. Well, what you're not realizing is you're not calculating the distance and the speed by which you're going with that light. You don't know it's not the same speed as the other light you cross over. So this is your third light of the day, and you crossing a red light, orange going into the red, and the other guy over there, he's already irritated as well, and he's just coming on the other side, ready to zoom. So you guys collide at the intersection, and that looks in the body in the same way as you look at the intersection of a traffic light. It's a
Wow.
really big collision, because you, and I'm going to take this in the in the family atmosphere. So you have already, as a hormonal drop already, you're having this insufficient funds in your body,
I like that.
and your husband is already, or your partner is already irritated for the past 3 days, how you have made them feel so low because you're not realizing. So now both of you are coming at the intersection. Oh, if she say one more thing, I'm gonna snap at her, right? If he say one more thing, I'm gonna just get in it, right? You're not realizing. So the self-assessment is just looking in the mirror. How are you today? I'm not really feeling good. Why are you not feeling good? I'm tired. The baby's crying all day, all night. He's not getting any sleep. I'm not getting sleep, and I'm not getting help from him either. So, what do we do about it? Can I call my sister? Let me call somebody and say, hey, we both need help. That is part of self assessment. Should I call my doctor? Listen, doctor, this is what I'm feeling the past few days. I'm not going to wait until it's 3 weeks down the road. Let me express that this is what I'm feeling, and let me get the help. That's the self assessment that I'm talking about. Being aware every minute, especially after giving birth, being aware every minute what's going on, listening to your body. What does it need? Drink water. Oh my gosh, I don't know the last time I drank water. Drink water. You're hydrating your body back again. Find yourself. We talk about the food aspect of it. Find yourself the food that are light and digestible. When the last time, this is a true thing, mothers, they're guilty. If there are any mother listening, I want you to put in the chat there if you are guilty of this, of saying, right, oh my gosh, I have not eaten since this morning. It's 3 p.m. No, no, harming yourself. You're not doing yourself justice. Oh my gosh, I've ate only bagels since this morning. It's already 7 p.m. No, that's what I'm talking about, self-assessment.
Oh yeah, I'll just kind of sum it up in a nutshell. Self assessment is just basically just kind of just looking at yourself and saying and making a informed decision about yourself and saying whether okay, I'm to get myself to be okay.
Hmm.
I ain't ate like two. I ain't ate in 3 days. So let me put something in my stomach, or better yet, I have it and make them feel better. Or and and I think when we talk about self assessment, I think we that to me that equates to self care.
Hmm.
It equates heavily to self care. To me, it equates heavily to self. Talking about self assessment, since we're talking about self assessments and things of that nature, you know, and I mentioned self care, and you mentioned some for self assessment, you know, what are some self care routines that you could suggest to a new mother to not only to bring about positive self esteem, but and I don't know if you heard it or not, but I'll repeat it.
Yeah.
What self care routines could do you recommend or would you suggest for a woman that just had a kid, just had a baby,
I'll say for women who just had a
that she
baby,
cares for this child to yep.
for a mom who just had a baby, this is your first child. I'll say look at your routine before giving birth. What was that thing that you did that made you happy? What was the things that made you feel alive? Don't just put it on the side and say, oh, okay, now I got a baby, I gotta take care of it, right? So take those routines that you already had and implement them. Finding a time and say, okay, this is the time where the baby sleep, and you look at the laundry or you look at the dishes and you look at the bottles and you say, can I put in a me time? What's my me time? My me time is the time where either I read my Bible, I read my devotion, I read my favorite book, or me time could be my time where I'm going to take a nice bath. So let's walk, for example, I'm just going to give an example of from morning to evening. From morning is you find yourself, for example, it's 9 a.m., you just woke up, or 6 a.m., you woke up. Whatever time you wake up, let not be your first thing like, oh my gosh, I'm running late. Because that already disturbed the whole rest flow of the day, because now you have put yourself into the flight fight mode of I gotta get this done, I gotta this, I'm late, I'm late. No, wake up, feel the toes, relax, take a nice breath, and just, if you have a journal, journal your gratitude. Journal your gratitude in that first few minutes, even if it's one thing that you're grateful for. Because what you're going to do is that it's going to activate you to be grateful for the rest of the day. That's one. And then from there, glance, you can glance on the baby. And that idea of glancing over the baby is the idea of it's a new life, it's a new beginning. That's it's all just around you before even you can get stepping into the world. There's a baby, it's a new life. I'm thankful for a new life. Then if you want to start with makeup, getting yourself beautiful, because guess what, everything else is in the world is always going to be there. Taking care of you first. What is the one thing? If you want to put on some music, to start with the music and put a sermon that's playing in the background, and do you just create that atmosphere where you are as a positive, uplifting, encouraging atmosphere. If you're a new mom and you have no help or no support at all, you're single mom and this is your environment, do those things. Put some gospel on, put some praise music on, put that cha-cha dance. So you want to dance. But if you're still healing, just take it nice and slow. That's very important, especially the first 3 weeks, is allow your body to heal. And as you allow your body to heal, the next thing then you do is what is to eat. Because by this time, the 3 hours, it's already 9, it's already 10. What is it that you want to eat? Eat something. I always say the principle, the airplane principle applies to everybody. What's the airplane principle, Frederick? The airplane principle is when it's crashing, put the mask on you first.
Exactly, exactly. Put the
Put
mask
the
on you
mask
first,
on
and
you
everybody
first.
else there afterwards.
So eat first. Even if it's strawberries, even if it's a small little cereal, something, eat first. Because by the time the wheel starts spinning, everybody's going to want you to feed them, everybody's going to want something from you. Eat first. So you already ate something spiritual, you've already fed your mental mind, you've already fed your mind, now you've fed your physical body. Then you start going, if you want to exercise, go into the exercise of relaxing your, you know renewing your body, renewing your mind, renewing your spirit. You already done that. So you fed yourself spiritually, you fed yourself mentally, you fed yourself physically. Now go through the day as the day present. And for some women they will say meal prep. So if you have a little bag of snacks that you can have throughout the day, and when do you want to have this big meal? Remember, again, the whole process here is of postpartum depression is not just the estrogen and the progesterone that dropped, but also the thyroid hormone, the process of breaking down your food as well. So you want to eat in small chunks, food that are digestible, so it does not stay too long in your body. And with that, drink a lot of water. Have your water that you're going to be carrying with you, or if you have those Apple Watch, that reminder of when you need to drink water, when you need to sit down, right? When you need to rest. It's okay to have your baby and sit down and just enjoy, if that's whatever that time is, to just enjoy each other. And now you get to see face to face with each other. Allow other people carry it. That's not just you. That's the anxiety part, right? Dealing with the anxiety is allow somebody else to carry the baby, and you enjoy with your feet up, with your hands stretched, watch a movie, whatever it is in there. Yes, that's a basic routine I can give you.
Wow, I love that. I do because I think when we talk about stuff like that, I think we leave out the self care aspect of it. I think we leave out the just just making sure you're okay. Just making
Mhm.
sure you're in the best frame of mind to deal with the day. It's not it ain't about just get up and go to work, get up and go from where you jump out when you hop out the bed. Some of us, myself included, I have to take a minute,
Mhm.
roll out the bed, put my feet on the carpet, and just kind of just let's get it started, but let me take care about let me get me started first.
Mhm.
Let me start my engine first before I start everybody else's engines. And then, and stuff like that. Make sure everybody's in their right frame of mind and things of that nature. This women who have kids, who have multiple children, but also have a newborn,
Mhm.
but they have older kids. You got to make sure that your engine is started before you start everybody else's engine, because if your engine is not running optimally, and I compare the human body to a car engine.
Mhm.
There are multiple parts to a car engine. You have the big block that has the pistons in it that creates those little explosions that create the combustion for that car to go. So if one part of that engine doesn't work, if you got a bad piston,
Mm.
the car doesn't operate. You got a messed up oil line, the car doesn't operate. If your radiator isn't working properly, your car's gonna overheat. The car's gonna malfunction. If you don't
Mm.
have any oil in it at all, your car's gonna seize up. So it's important to take care of your internal engine, meaning your body, feeding it the proper
Mm-hmm.
giving yourself the proper mental and physical breaks. I think we as human beings don't do that for you. We don't do that enough. Maybe those physical breaks, especially when it's a long, arduous day,
Mm.
and it's almost when you're doing things and like the day's not gonna end, or you get home from work and like, oh my god, I gotta take care of the kids, and then I gotta fix food, and then I gotta make sure that my husband or my okay. I get it, y'all. I get it, ladies. I get it. I do, and I understand the aspect. I understand the difficulty of that because you're managing all these things at one time. I don't know how y'all be doing that, but I got a great respect for y'all. I really do because what y'all do in the midst of having a child, but then you have to manage a household, but then also manage like me and Miss Joy was talking, have been speaking on it's very important to manage yourself, to
Mm-hmm.
self-assess.
And
And when you really talk to your care team about it,
mm-hmm.
and also put yourself in the right mindset for self-care. Run a bubble bath. Shoot. Go outside on the porch. Sit down. Have a to be able to get yourself back in a mind state to where you're kind of just even. And of course, being married with kids, and then you imagine a household that there's no way of that being ever even
It's never even. It's
because
never even.
I've been married, been divorced, and I know it, it never going to be even because there's also going to be one aspect of it that overrides the other or that makes it uneven because you know again women are the nurturers and women we're it's still the values and the and all the other things into it, but the women are the ones that nurture and care for these kids. They're the ones that you know shit, these are that's the first bond they ever create. That's the first bond that's ever created. A bond with a mom and a mother and a child.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first bond that's ever created. Like me and Miss Joy been saying, it's very important, vitally important as a woman, especially a woman who's this is your first time, this is your first pregnancy and your first child, to make sure that you do the things that are necessary as far as self care, for self assessments. Understand that it's okay to have break. It's okay to have a break. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to kind of get away from not necessarily get away from it all, but but it is okay to but it's okay to for a little bit, not for a long time, but for a little bit, and that's okay. I think in some instances and you might be able to speak on this a little bit, Joy. That when I think when and I've seen it kind of detach from all that for a while, for a minute, for at least for a second or two, it makes them seem like they're unfit moms or something like that. When they detach from dealing with the just not dealing with the whole aspect of being a mom, but dealing with emotionally or mentally. You know, now is that something you could kind of speak towards, or is it kind of like I mean I believe that it's a misconception, but I mean me personally, that's just how I look at it.
Yeah, it's something that I
Because
can.
so I've from certain aspects of what you do for a little bit, maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour or so, but not on a permanent basis.
Yeah, it's very excuse me. It's very important in the that aspect of finding those 30 minutes to step away and if we can call it detach a little bit, because that is part of the self-care, the self-assessment. God created all of us women with the gift of nurturing. And what it can happen is that we can overly kick into it. We want to over nurture instead of simply nurturing properly or equally balanced. Overly nurtured is to the point of the husband. Oh my gosh, you just put the hat. The hat. It's just a hat, right? It's just a simple hat. It's okay. The hat can fall off. Just gently put it back on. The over when it kicks in, that's another sign. When it starts over kicking in, over protecting it, you know that I'm overdoing it. I need to step back, because this child also is in the new journey. The new journey is of identifying sound, identifying light versus all these suddenly they also he or she, the baby, is trying to process all these things, and overing protecting them as well, you are hindering their development process. So stepping back is not just self-care for yourself, but you allowing the child as well to begin to develop themselves in the process of life that they just come in. And as well giving other people the room. Step back 30 minutes away, you trusting and say they're gonna be okay. You're trusting that they're gonna survive. You're trusting, you also communicating you also communicating to the child. I have a case of a relative who was overly protected, and we constantly like sharing, you know, give the child room, give the child space, and uh, and they did not. So the child became hypersensitive. Anyone but mommy. Anyone but mommy, right? It's like whenever anyone they try to reach to the child, they feel scared because mom have overly protect them, and don't feel that, huh, they never developed the sense of exploring. Who's this face? This is a new face. Who's this person? What does sound look like? And I love how you talk about earlier of going outside. That's another aspect. You're not just going outside for a walk, but you are oxygenating your brain. And that process of oxygenating your brain is renewing self, and also allowing the child to like, okay, these are not just my mom's sound. There are more sounds out here. Where am I? The cognitive start kicking in of learning. But if you are not stepping away, you're not stepping far, 30 minute, 1 hour to take care of yourself, you telling that child, you can't survive without me.
Yeah, that's important, y'all. That's important. It
And
is
that will be
very.
another conversation for another day of how
Oh yeah,
to affect
oh yeah,
the
most
effect of the
definitely,
kids, right? The
most
impact on the
definitely.
kids.
Yep, yep. That's a conversation we're gonna most definitely have. You know, and the one thing I'm going to give you the opportunity to give, uh, your final thoughts on the subject that we talked about today, which is PPD, the effect on the mother. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to give your final thoughts on this, and then I'm going to throw some announcements out there, and then we'll close it out. So I'm going to give so you have your this is the opportunity right now to give your final thoughts on this subject. You got the floor.
All right, yeah.
Oops.
Oh, what happened? There we go. Gotta love a beautiful, beautiful space. Thank you again, Trailblazer, for this amazing event that you are hosting, recognizing women and recognizing especially mothers, newly mom or ongoing mom, well, mom of 10, mom of 5. It doesn't really matter. You are a mom, right? I want you to remember that you are a mom, and God have entrusted you with the most beautiful gift, whether it's a mom through C-section, whether it's a mom through whatever, adopting. The gift of motherhood is a very delicate and an honor that we get to have as women. So taking care of yourself, being aware, doing this self-assessment that we talked about in the video are very important because it will enhance your skill and your gift to the world as a mother. You are raising not just a child, but you are raising somebody's husband, somebody's wife, somebody's community leader. You are raising somebody's president. You are raising somebody's first lady, whatever it is. And your well being depends upon that. Your well being, because how you're going to pour that love in them, how you're going to pour that instruction, it's coming from the place of abundance. Otherwise, they are going to be fed. That next leader, the next somebody's husband, the next somebody's wife is going to be fed from your place of empty cup. And that's where we're going to talk about next time. But we want to end today. I want to end with this message today. Excuse me, is simply this: take care of yourself, because the world needs you whole and healthy. Your children need you whole and healthy. You yourself, you need yourself whole and healthy. Take care, connect with your doctors if you're not feeling well, connect with your PCP, connect with your OB, and express. Be your first advocate because we need you all. Again, thank you, Trailblazer, for this great opportunity. And I love being here. This has been amazing, amazing being here, sharing my story. And you can find more about the work that I do on godimprint.com or on the other social media as God Imprint. Take care, and with all love and peace to you.
No true words said. That is, you said more than a mouthful right there, and I am appreciative of that. Um, I thank you. I thank you for being here. I thank you for taking the time again out of a Wednesday evening with your children. I am appreciative of that. I am very appreciative of that. Um, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, man. Again, my my beautiful guest here, Joy Kitanga-Dabo, in the building, man. We're talking about PPD. We're talking about postpartum depression. Um, second episode in the books now. How it affects the woman, the new mother, or even the experienced mother. But we know that it hits them both in similar ways. We also know that it is important to involve a care team, your PCP, your OB, a mental health professional, even we also know that self-assessment is key to understanding where you are as far as dealing battling PPD. Also, self-care is a very important aspect of battling PPD. You have to take care of yourself. Miss Joy said it so eloquently, and I there's nothing I could add to that. that could really be that could add to that. Understand where you are first, and then everything else can follow. Everything else and everyone else will follow. It's important to understand where you are
Mhm.
mentally, physically, emotionally. You have to make those analytical decisions, or make those analytics for yourself. Because just like like Miss Joy said earlier, if you're not right, then everybody that's around you won't be wrong, won't be right, and everybody suffers.
Mhm.
But now, before we conclude this particular episode, I do have to do this. Big, still spinning. First and foremost, I want to apologize for the quality of the stream. This is normally not us, so there's going to be some internal things I'm going to be dealing with bandwidth, and also later. So that's neither here nor there. Um, want you guys to quit Joe's and Coco 50 will be on with my life has destiny podcast. Don't know what they're going to be talking about, but I want you to my my other host, Miss Latanya Harris Good, and we'll be back with critical conversations on on Saturday. Don't know what she's gonna be talking about, but you guys should be you guys make sure you guys tune in. But come doing something sometime tomorrow afternoon around somewhere. I'll keep you guys updated on that. What I and it's it's not a rant. It's not a rant or anything. It's experience. It won't be a rant or anything. It's experience. Um, my experience at the VA, me being a veteran and all, knowing that I have access to that particular healthcare system. I want to talk about my experience. I'll keep you guys on ears to the ground when that goes down. But it's not about me right now. It's about my guest, Miss Joy Kitanga-Dabo. I want to thank her for being here having a conversation and breaking down how PPD affects a woman, how PPD affects a woman, and how it affects a woman in more ways than I think a lot of us even realize. She mentioned during her own personal journey is that she suffered a slight bit of short term memory loss, something I never even imagined could happen either during a pregnancy or even afterwards. So that's new. That's new to me.
Mhm.
Piggyback on what Miss Joy said when it comes to just being taking care of you. With or whatever number child this is. The opportunities for self care and self assessment are always available. It is up to you to have a care teacher should consist of several people. Number one, you. Number two, your spouse. Lastly, but most definitely not leastly, your primary care physician, and then the other part aspect of that is also a mental health professional. That's your care. You should also be able to take a look in the mirror and say, and ask yourself, how am I feeling today?
Mhm.
If you know you're feeling bad, find something to do to uplift your spirits. Whether that's let's take a walk outside. A better frame of mind, or a better aspect of mind. Self care is very important. I think I think that I strongly believe that self care is very important. Not only with um in a mental health aspect, also in a physical health aspect, you know. But I also believe that understanding that having a relationship with God is also vitally important to a self a wonderful self-care routine, interjecting wonders for you, will do wonders for you spiritually as well as mentally and emotionally, you know. And it doesn't have to be anything long or drawn out or anything of that nature. Just a I appreciate you for allowing me this chance to wake up this morning. I thank you for all the things that you're about to give me. I thank you for the challenges that you're about to give me today, but I also thank you for the strength that you're going to give me to overcome these challenges. Peace of mind to know when I am not okay. But also, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to take the time to take care of myself. You know, it's it's a small thing, impact. You know, like I said, having a relationship with God I believe would play a big part in that. And just injecting prayer into your routine right after you rise, or it can be during the day. It can be sometime during the day where you have that time for yourself. Just a suggestion of mine. I'm very sure that Joy would agree with me on that one. But it's been an honor and a pleasure. I'm looking forward to our next conversations. If you guys don't know, she is my guest for the next few Wednesdays. And if you guys did not tune in and watch the first YouTube also, and it's also an audio podcast on several different audio platforms. So check that one out. Also check out this one as well. This is on YouTube streaming live. If you missed this particular podcast, you can check it out again on YouTube. Watch. By all means, do me a big favor and follow Miss Joy on all her social media platforms. She's on Instagram, she's on Facebook, but she's on Instagram at God Imprints. Also go to her website godimpress.com, or on the website or on Instagram just lurking. Please say hi. And as well with us, you can follow us on all social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Um, geez, we're also on YouTube. Go to our channel. If you see something on our channel that you like, by all means like that. Please, if you please do me a favor, subscribe to our channel. Subscribing does not cost you a thing. It is a free thing. Um, I try to get 100 subscribers, so please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are on the road to 100 subscribers. Please subscribe to our channel. Um, you know, like our content. Um, but you know, as I say, oh, you don't have to like all of our content, just the content that resonates with you. And if you feel led to, please subscribe to our channel, man. We are, like I said, we're on the road. We are on the road to 100. We are on the road to 100 subscribers. Like, subscribe to the channel. But again, do me an even bigger favor and follow Miss Joy on her social media platforms, and also check out her website. Um, I promise you won't be disappointed. Um, she does some great lives, some great content that she has on Instagram. So go check her out there. Um, and with that note, man, I mean, I'm gonna I'm gonna actually call. I'm actually gonna call it. But I mean, the last thing that I want to mention, and this is something that I'm in a partnership with another platform called WBNN, and I'm gonna be an intern for them for doing an internship for them, um, on their show not going anywhere because no, this is Trailblazer Radio is my baby. I ain't going nowhere. It's for me. I just well, I'm expanding my horizons and stretching myself a little bit. So if you guys hear me on another platform, yeah, that's me. But it's not. But Trailblazers is where you guys will hear my voice the most. So with that being said, again, man, Miss Joy, I thank you so very much for being here and
It's great to be here.
being and spreading knowledge for newly born new mothers and new mothers, expected mothers, um, mothers who are having enough, mothers who've had two, three or more kids. This is important. I want you guys to understand that this is, again, we like talking about subjects that no one talks about. This is one of those things. And to have this young lady here with us at this time, in this dispensation, means a lot. You know, so and if you guys are able to tap in with her, please do so. She not only will I thank you, she'll thank you as well. And we're gonna part three part 3 of this series. We're gonna talk about how it affects the man, the husband, the partner,
Mhm.
because we know how it affects the woman, but we also and then with part 4, we're gonna talk about how it affects the family as a whole. But as we're building, as we're continuing to build with each subject, we're also bringing solutions to this as well. So as we're building on this, we're building on one who it affects, and also solutions, and also ways that we can kind of help. So you guys tune in for that, man. It's conversation to the next conversation that we have next Wednesday, but also the following conversation on the following Wednesday. This again. I'm looking forward to this because this is something that needs to be talked about on more than one platform. And Miss Joy, I'm going to do my best to try to get you in front of as many platforms as possible. I want them to hear. I want them to hear your story, but also want them to listen to your knowledge as well. So I'm gonna try to put you in front of as many platforms that I know as possible, if that's okay with you.
That's all right. This is to help a few women, not few women. This is to help women and families. So Whoever our work is helping, it's a blessing.
Yes, indeed, indeed. Miss Joy, as I said before, thank you so much for being here tonight. I thoroughly enjoy the our
It's great to
conversation
be
that
here.
to the information that's gonna be brought. I'm looking forward to the lives that we're gonna change. I'm looking forward to the healing that we're gonna bring about to not only our children and as well as the babies. So with that being said, will conclude the episode. This episode of the check-in. Um, you can find us online at www.trailblazerradio.net. You can also find us online on YouTube. Um, you can also find us online at Facebook, on LinkedIn, or Instagram. You can also find us online on Twitter. Um, a Patreon and a Linktree page is coming soon. I'm actually going to be in the process of building those. Um, and I am going to do my pop up show tomorrow. Just don't know what time, but I will do a pop up show tomorrow. Um, but as I always say, guys, as we conclude each show, man, first of all, be good to each other. Number two, take care of each other. Last but not least, this is a very, very cold and difficult world, but also very tumultuous times that we live in, y'all.
Mhm.
And I mean that when I say that. Um, there are things that have happened that need not happen, and I think a lot of us know what those are. As I close, um, I do want to continue to. I want everyone to keep the families of Deshaun DuBose, Tyree Nichols, and also Joshua Butler in your prayers. Um, these families have lost a loved one, and I want you guys to continue to keep these families in your prayers as they go through um, this difficult time in dealing with their loved ones. Also, please be mindful and be respectful of the families as they go through this difficult time. You can say so. Make sure you can say you can give out your condolences and give out your prayers. Um, but I want you to be mindful and respectful of their time and of their emotions during this time. And
Mhm.
with that being said, what the last thing that I want to say is that we all know that's a cold and cruel and difficult world we live in. So please take care of each other, y'all. That's all I'm asking. Take care of each other. Be good to each other. And on that note, y'all, that note, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you guys. We will see you guys in the next broadcast. Be good to each other, and y'all have a great night. And we will see you guys in the next broadcast.